The sun shone brightly over the city as families flocked to the zoo. A vibrant place filled with laughter, excitement, and the chatter of children. The air was alive with the sounds of animals calling to one another. Mia stood at the entrance, her heart racing with anticipation. Today was a special day. Her school had planned a field trip to the zoo, and she could hardly contain her joy. Mia loved everything about the zoo. The colorful parrots squawking overhead, the gentle giants like elephants splashing in their pools, and the playful sea lions that danced in their watery home. But what she loved most was the orangutan exhibit. For Mia, there was something magical about orangutans. Their big, curious eyes and clever ways of interacting with each other always made her smile. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more, and tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. She would spend hours watching them swing from branch to branch, their long arms reaching out as they played. As her class entered the zoo, Mia's excitement bubbled over. She rushed ahead of her friends, trying to catch a glimpse of the orangutan. The path wound through various exhibits, but all she could think about was seeing her favorite orangutan, named Coco. Coco had a thick orange coat and a playful demeanor that charmed everyone who watched him. Mia had seen Coco many times before and felt a special bond with him, even if he didn't know her name. Finally, they arrived at the orangutan enclosure. It was spacious and filled with lush trees and ropes hanging down for the orangutans to climb on. Mia's eyes widened in delight when she spotted Coco lounging on a large branch, scratching his belly and occasionally glancing at the visitors below. He looked relaxed, but aware of all the excitement surrounding him. As Mia settled onto a nearby bench, she couldn't take her eyes off Coco. Other children laughed and pointed at different animals around them. But Mia felt like she was in her own little world, filled with curiosity and awe. She leaned forward, resting her elbows on her knees as she watched Coco. He seemed to sense her attention and turned his gaze toward her. In that moment, it felt like time stood still. Coco's large brown eyes locked onto Mia's, and she felt an incredible connection, as if he were looking right into her heart. The world around them faded away. All she could see was Coco's gentle face and fluffy fur. It was as if he understood her love for animals and was silently encouraging her to keep watching. Just then, something unexpected happened. Coco shifted his position and reached out one long arm towards Mia. Her breath caught in her throat as she realized he was extending his hand toward her. What would happen next? Mia's heart raced as she watched Coco reach out his hand. She had always been fascinated by orangutans, and Coco was her favorite. There was something magical about the way they moved and interacted with each other. Their playful antics and clever expressions captivated her every time she visited the zoo. Mia remembered the first time she laid eyes on an orangutan. She was just a little girl, barely old enough to understand why these creatures were so special. But as soon as she saw them swinging from ropes, playfully chasing one another, she felt a spark of joy. It was as if they were inviting her into their world, a world where laughter and curiosity thrived. Every visit to the zoo felt like an adventure for Mia. She would stand for hours in front of the orangutan enclosure, completely absorbed in their playful games. Coco was particularly engaging. He would hang upside down from branches, making funny faces that made Mia giggle uncontrollably. His intelligence shone through as he solved puzzles and used tools to get treats hidden by the zookeepers. Mia often imagined what it would be like to have a friend like Coco, someone who understood her love for animals and shared in her sense of wonder. As she sat on the bench, Mia recalled one visit when Coco had grabbed a piece of fruit and expertly peeled it open. The way he savored each bite reminded her of how she enjoyed her favorite snacks. Watching him made Mia think about how much they had in common, even though they were from different worlds. Each moment spent observing him deepened her admiration for these amazing creatures. Mia's fascination with orangutans also came from their gentle nature. She admired how Coco cared for his young ones and played gently with them. It taught her about kindness and patience, lessons that seemed important in both the animal kingdom and her own life. Whenever Mia felt overwhelmed or sad, thinking of Coco's gentle spirit brought a smile to her face. The more she learned about orangutans, the more she wanted to help protect them. She read books about their habitats being destroyed and how they needed safe places to live. Mia dreamed of becoming a wildlife biologist one day, helping animals like Coco thrive in the wild. Now, sitting in front of Coco, she felt that familiar excitement bubbling within her again. His big brown eyes seemed to twinkle with mischief and wisdom all at once. As Mia leaned closer, she thought about how this moment could change everything for her. A real connection to a creature she loved so much. Would Coco understand her dreams? Would he inspire her to make a difference? Just then, she felt a rush of hope as she prepared to reach out her hand toward his outstretched arm. The day of the school field trip finally arrived, and Mia could hardly contain her excitement. She woke up early, dressed in her favorite bright yellow shirt decorated with a cheerful monkey pattern, and hurriedly packed her backpack with a water bottle and a notebook to jot down all her thoughts about the animals she would see. As she raced to school, she imagined all the fun, adventures awaiting her at the zoo. When Mia arrived, she joined her classmates, who were buzzing with energy. Their teacher, Ms. Thompson, gathered everyone around to explain the day's plan. "We're going to explore different exhibits and learn about various animals," she said with a smile. "But make sure you stay with your groups." Mia nodded eagerly, already envisioning herself standing in front of Coco's enclosure. As they entered the zoo, the sounds of laughter filled the air. The group walked past colorful birds and playful seals. But Mia's heart was set on one destination, the orangutan exhibit. Every other animal seemed like a blur as she thought about Coco swinging from his branches or solving puzzles for treats. She could imagine him looking right at her with those wise brown eyes. Finally, after what felt like forever, they reached the orangutan area. Mia's stomach fluttered with anticipation as they approached the large glass enclosure filled with lush green trees and ropes for climbing. The sun filtered through the leaves, casting playful shadows on the ground. Mia scanned the enclosure excitedly until she spotted Coco lounging comfortably on a high branch. "Coco, there he is," Mia exclaimed, pointing at him with glee as her friends gathered around to see what had caught her attention. They were soon captivated too. Coco was engaging in his usual antics, hanging upside down and making silly faces at anyone who passed by. Mia watched intently as Coco played with a colorful toy that swung from a rope. His playful personality shone through as he swatted at it playfully, and then leaned back to observe his audience with an inquisitive look on his face. It was moments like these that made Mia feel connected to him. They both shared a love for playfulness and fun. As their group moved closer to the glass, Mia felt herself getting lost in Coco's world once again. She noticed how attentive he was to his surroundings. It was almost as if he could sense their excitement. Her heart raced when Coco suddenly turned his head directly toward her, locking eyes in that special way that made time stand still. Her friends chatted excitedly around her, but all Mia could focus on was Coco's gentle demeanor and curious gaze. This was more than just another school field trip. It what felt like an extraordinary moment meant just for her. With every passing minute, she couldn't help but imagine what it would be like to reach out and touch this amazing creature who had captured her heart so many times before. Feeling inspired by Coco's presence, Mia made a silent promise. Today would be special not only because of their connection, but also because it would motivate her even further to protect him and others like him in the wild. As Mia stood by the glass enclosure, her heart raced with excitement while Coco swung playfully in his habitat. The sun streamed down, creating dappled patterns on the ground, and the sounds of laughter and chatter faded into a distant hum as she focused entirely on him. Coco was in his element, zooming from branch to branch, showing off his impressive strength and agility. Just watching him filled Mia with joy. But something about today felt different. Suddenly, Coco paused mid-swing and turned his gaze directly toward Mia. It was as if he had sensed her watching him with admiration and curiosity. Their eyes met, and for that fleeting moment, everything else around them disappeared. The kids laughing, the zookeepers talking, even the bright sun overhead felt muted. All that existed was the connection between Mia and Coco. Mia's breath caught in her throat as she held eye contact with Coco. His big brown eyes sparkled with intelligence and curiosity. It felt like he was peering right into her soul. She had never experienced anything like this before. It was more than just admiration. There was a deep understanding between them, as if both could sense each other's emotions. Coco tilted his head slightly, seeming to study Mia's expression. In that instant, she knew he could feel her excitement and affection for him. Was it possible that he understood just how much he meant to her? Questions swirled in Mia's mind. Did he know how many times she had imagined being close to him? Did he realize how much she cared about orangutans and their well-being? A sense of warmth washed over her as she smiled at Coco. It felt like they were sharing a secret bond that transcended words, a mutual appreciation for life itself. With every passing second, Mia felt a tug at her heartstrings, igniting something deep within her. A passion not only for Coco, but also for all orangutans who needed protection. Just then, Coco shifted closer to the glass barrier separating them. He reached out one long arm toward Mia in a slow motion that seemed almost deliberate. Time appeared to stand still again as Mia's pulse quickened. Her mind raced with thoughts of what might happen next. Would he touch the glass? Would they share this incredible moment together? Mia felt tears of joy prickling at her eyes as she instinctively lifted her own hand toward him. The distance seemed to shrink as their hands moved closer through the thick glass barrier. One large furry paw reaching out toward a small human hand filled with hope and dreams. In that beautiful moment of connection, Mia realized something profound. This experience could be a turning point in her life. She promised herself would do everything possible to protect animals like Coco, not only for herself, but for future generations who deserve to know these amazing creatures too. As their eyes locked once again, Mia knew that this magical day would be etched in her heart forever. As Mia stood mesmerized by Coco's gaze, she began to feel an electric mix of excitement and nervousness swirling inside her. It was then that Coco, with a calm and deliberate grace, shifted closer to the glass barrier. Mia's heart raced as he extended his long arm toward her, his fingers reaching out slowly. This unexpected gesture sent a thrilling shock through her body, leaving her momentarily breathless. Mia felt a rush of emotions. Curiosity tinged with a touch of fear. Would Coco really touch the glass? Did he want to connect with her? She marveled at the thought that this incredible creature might actually be interested in her presence. As he stretched out his hand, she could see the details of his fur and the gentle strength in his muscles. It was a moment that felt both surreal and deeply personal. She instinctively moved closer to the glass, feeling an overwhelming urge to reach out in return. Would he feel her warmth through the cool barrier? As she lifted her hand, Mia's fingers trembled slightly. It felt like she was about to step into a dream. The distance between them seemed to dissolve as Coco's large furry paw hovered just inches from hers. In that instant, every lesson she had learned about orangutans and their gentle nature flooded her mind. She remembered reading about how intelligent and emotional these creatures were, capable of forming deep connections. If Coco was reaching out, it might be his way of showing he recognized her admiration and care for him. Mia's heart swelled with joy as she looked into Coco's eyes once more. They sparkled with something that felt like understanding, a shared moment between two beings from different worlds. She couldn't help but smile as she imagined what it would be like if they could truly interact beyond this glass barrier. What stories would he tell if he could speak? As Coco continued to extend his hand, Mia felt tears welling up in her eyes, not from sadness, but from an overwhelming sense of love and inspiration. This simple yet profound interaction made everything else fade away. Nothing mattered at that moment except for the connection they were sharing. Then came the moment Mia had hoped for. Coco gently touched the glass with his palm, perfectly aligning it with hers. Her heart skipped a beat as she pressed her hand against the transparent surface, feeling an unexplainable warmth radiating from where their hands met. It was as if they were sharing a secret promise, an acknowledgement of their bond despite being separated by species and habitat. With each heartbeat, Mia knew this experience would change her life forever. This unexpected gesture from Coco ignited a fire within her, a commitment not only to protect him, but also to advocate for all orangutans in need of help. As they stood there together, hand against glass, Mia realized this was not just a moment, but the beginning of a lifelong journey inspired by love and understanding for wildlife. Mia stood frozen for a moment, her heart racing as she considered the distance between herself and Coco. Though he had reached out his hand, she felt a flicker of fear rising within her. What if he was too strong? What if he didn't want to connect after all? Thoughts raced through her mind like wildfire, sparking doubts about whether she should take that step forward. But then she looked into Coco's eyes again, those wise, glimmering eyes that seemed to convey understanding and kindness. They were not just the eyes of an animal. They were the eyes of a being capable of emotion and connection. In that moment, she felt a wave of courage wash over her. Mia reminded herself of all the stories she had read about orangutans and their gentle natures. They were known to form bonds with humans, but it required bravery from both sides. Drawing in a deep breath, Mia gathered her thoughts and decided to overcome her hesitation. In her heart, she longed to connect with Coco, to feel that special bond they shared intensify. Slowly, she placed her palm against the glass barrier again, the surface cool against her skin, as if affirming the feeling building inside her. As she began to extend her arm forward, her fingers trembled slightly. This was not just any ordinary interaction. It was a moment that could change everything for her. Her mind flashed back to the countless times she had imagined this perfect encounter, dreaming aloud about how deeply she wished for such a connection with Coco. Now it was happening, and she couldn't give in to fear. Mia took another courageous step and reached out completely, all the way to Coco's awaiting hand on the other side of the glass. The mere thought of sharing this moment filled her with both apprehension and exhilaration. What would it feel like to have an orangutan so close? Would Coco sense the love and admiration in her touch? As their hands drew nearer, Coco's large furry paw slowly stretching toward hers, Mia could almost feel his warmth emanating through the transparent barrier. It was as though time stood still. Everything faded away, except for this beautiful exchange between girl and orangutan. She closed her eyes for just a moment, picturing how special this was. Each heartbeat echoed in harmony with Coco's movements. And then it happened. The moment Mia had dreamed about struck like lightning illuminating the sky. Coco gently pressed his hand against the glass. At the same time, Mia established contact with hers. It was a soft touch, yet filled with unspoken promises. A connection that bridged their two worlds together, despite any boundaries that might separate them. In that fleeting instant, all fear melted away. Mia felt brave and empowered, knowing that reaching out had not only brought her closer to Coco, but had also solidified her resolve to dedicate herself to protecting these magnificent creatures. The world outside faded further into the background as they shared a moment filled with mutual understanding, a pact between them. That this connection would inspire Mia's journey toward wildlife advocacy for years to come. As Mia's hand finally met Coco's through the glass, a magical moment unfolded. The world around them faded away, leaving only the quiet thrum of their hearts and the gentle warmth radiating from their hands. Mia pressed her palm against the cool surface, feeling the slight vibrations of Coco's movements on the other side. It was as if time itself had paused, creating a sacred space just for them. Coco's large furry paw enveloped her small hand, and in that instant, everything changed. Mia could feel a rush of energy coursing through her, a connection deeper than mere physical touch. It was as if they were sharing a silent promise, an understanding that transcended words. They were two beings from different worlds, yet in this moment, they were united by a bond that felt both profound and meaningful. Mia looked into Coco's eyes once again, and she could see emotions swirling within them. Curiosity, kindness, and maybe even a hint of joy. It was as if Coco was acknowledging their shared experience, recognizing Mia not just as a visitor, but as someone who cared deeply for him and his kind. She felt seen and validated in a way she had never experienced before. Her heart swelled with emotion as she tried to take in the enormity of this moment. It was not just about meeting her favorite orangutan. It was about recognizing the importance of their connection and what it stood for. Every story she had read about orangutans came flooding back to her. How they formed bonds with each other, and how they expressed love and care within their families. In her heart, Mia knew Coco understood how important this connection was for her. As she held on to that feeling of warmth and mutual understanding, Mia felt tears of happiness welling up in her eyes. This was the moment she had dreamed of. It was filled with love and hope. It felt like Coco was giving her strength, encouraging her to pursue her passion for wildlife conservation with renewed vigor. She realized that this single encounter could inspire her to make a difference in the lives of not just orangutans, but all animals. Coco shifted slightly, squeezing his hand against the glass as though reinforcing their bond. Mia couldn't help but smile through her tears, reassured by the gentle pressure of his paw. It felt like they were sharing their hopes and dreams without speaking a word. Each heartbeat echoed the promise they had made to one another. In that moment of connection, Mia understood that it wasn't just about admiration anymore. It was a call to action. This experience would stay with her forever, igniting a fire within her to stand up for wildlife and advocate for their protection. As they shared this unforgettable moment together, she vowed to carry Coco's spirit with her always, a reminder of the beauty of connection and the responsibility that came with it. As their hands lingered together on either side of the glass, Mia knew this magical encounter marked the beginning of something extraordinary in her life. A compassionate journey fueled by love for animals and a commitment to making a difference in their world. As Mia and Coco continued to share their enchanting moment, the crowd around the orangutan enclosure began to notice the extraordinary scene unfolding before them. Other visitors paused in their tracks, drawn to the magical connection between the young girl and the majestic creature. Excited whispers and gasps of amazement spread through the crowd as they witnessed this unique interaction. Some children, wide-eyed with wonder, pointed at Mia and cheered joyfully. "Look, that orangutan is holding her hand," others exclaimed, their voices filled with excitement. Mia could feel their enthusiasm swirling around her like a warm embrace, making her heart swell even more. She was thrilled to know that not only was she sharing this moment with Coco, but she was also capturing the attention of those around her who could appreciate its significance. A few enthusiastic parents joined in the cheer, encouraging their own children to witness this heartfelt moment. "This is so special," one mother declared, beaming with pride at Mia's bravery and connection with Coco. They understood that what they were witnessing was more than just an interaction. It was a reminder of the bond that could exist between humans and animals. Meanwhile, Coco seemed to sense the energy of the crowd. He looked around at the cheering children and their parents, while maintaining his gentle focus on Mia. His eyes sparkled with an intelligent curiosity, as if he were aware of how important this moment was for everyone involved. It was evident he enjoyed being the center of attention, playing up to the audience with his playful antics alongside his more tender gesture toward Mia. Even some of the other animals in nearby enclosures reacted to the scene. A pair of playful monkeys swung from their branches, trying to imitate Coco's movements as if they wanted to join in on the excitement. The sound of their chattering provided a lively soundtrack to Mia's unforgettable experience. Birds fluttered nearby, chirping as if cheering Coco on in this heartwarming moment. As Mia savored the joy emanating from both Coco and the onlookers, she felt surrounded by a sense of community, each person united in celebrating the bond between her and the orangutan. It was as if this moment transcended time and place, connecting everyone who witnessed it, reminding them of nature's beauty and the importance of compassion toward all living beings. Mia looked out at the smiling faces and felt a surge of pride swell within her. She realized that this moment could inspire not just herself, but others too. Their reactions echoed her own feelings about protecting wildlife, and in essence, she found herself standing not only for her dreams, but for those who couldn't speak for themselves. In that electrifying atmosphere, filled with awe and admiration, Mia felt emboldened by the encouragement of her peers and family alike. She knew that this remarkable connection with Coco would remain etched in her heart forever, woven into a story that would touch others' lives as well, prompting everyone to appreciate the beauty found in nature and advocate for its preservation. As Mia stood there with her hand pressed against the glass, her heart warmed by the connection she felt with Coco. An overwhelming wave of empathy washed over her. In that electric atmosphere filled with joy and wonder, she considered how powerful it was to communicate across species. It struck her that animals like Coco had feelings too. They experienced joy, sadness, and love, just like humans. Mia recalled the expressions on Coco's face, the way his eyes sparkled with curiosity and warmth. She realized that he wasn't just a creature in a cage. He was a being capable of understanding emotions. His gentle gesture of reaching out had expressed a desire to connect, to be seen and recognized. In that moment, Mia understood the importance of this bond. Coco was acknowledging their shared space in the world. In reflecting on that realization, Mia thought about all the times she had seen animals treated without care or respect. Stories flooded back to her of animals left homeless due to habitat destruction or species threatened by human actions. A knot formed in her stomach as she imagined how those animals must feel, alone, scared, and unheard. Deep inside her heart, she believed these creatures deserved more than indifference. They deserved advocacy and compassion. This newfound sense of empathy cemented Mia's resolve to take action for wildlife conservation seriously. She wanted others to understand what she felt, the urgency for change in how society viewed and treated animals. With each heartbeat, she recognized how crucial it was to raise awareness about these issues. Not only for Coco, but for all species struggling to survive amidst human encroachment. Mia began envisioning ways to spread this message of empathy further. Perhaps she could start an awareness campaign at school, or maybe organize visits to local shelters or rescues, helping her classmates learn about the struggles many animals face daily. The ideas inspired her. Within her young mind lay dreams of rallying community support for wildlife protection efforts. She looked back at Coco, who seemed particularly engaged with the audience surrounding them, and saw him as not just an individual, but part of a larger network of life, a living testament to the beauty found in nature. The reflection brought tears to her eyes once more, but this time they were tears of determination rather than sorrow. With newfound clarity coursing through her veins, Mia understood that empathy would be her guiding force. It would shape her future decisions and drive her passion for protecting wildlife as she embarked on this journey into adulthood. As they continued sharing that beautiful moment together, hands apart yet connected by invisible threads of understanding, she vowed never to forget what it meant to share compassion across boundaries. Thus, under the warm sun shining down on the zoo exhibit, Mia made a silent promise not only to Coco, but also to every creature whose voice remained unheard. She would cherish their lives and fight for their futures as long as she could. The bond between nature and humans held power. It was time for everyone else to recognize it too. As Mia stood by the glass enclosure, she felt a sense of clarity wash over her like a warm breeze. The magical encounter with Coco had transformed her understanding of wildlife conservation and deepened her commitment to helping protect animals and their natural habitats. At that moment, the weight of the responsibility she felt began to settle into her heart, a calling she could no longer ignore. She recalled everything she had learned about orangutans and their declining populations due to human activities, including deforestation and illegal poaching. Each fact echoed louder than the last, as she realized that animals depended on humans to advocate for their well-being. The connection with Coco was more than just a fleeting moment. It was a push toward action, urging her to do something meaningful with her passion. Mia envisioned how many creatures were out there in the wild, each one battling against threats they couldn't control. Instantly, visions of lush jungles filled her mind, teeming with life, but now under threat. She imagined herself as an adult biologist, leading initiatives to restore habitats or educate communities on preserving wildlife. It was exhilarating yet daunting to imagine taking on such significant work. With her heart racing at the thought of this future, Mia knew she wanted to make a difference. Not just for Coco, but for all animals whose homes were disappearing. She made a silent promise to herself that she would dedicate her life to protecting wildlife and educating others about the importance of conservation. This wasn't just about admiration anymore. It was about creating real change. Mia decided it was time to start small, perhaps by organizing a campaign at school focused on wildlife protection efforts. She envisioned posters, informative assemblies, and fun educational events designed to engage her classmates in the wonders of nature and ignite their passion for conservation. The more she spoke about these animals and their struggles, the more people might listen and join in her cause. As her thoughts raced through all the possibilities that lay ahead, Mia felt invigorated by the potential impact she could have. Every little effort counted. Whether it was raising awareness about habitat preservation or inspiring others to adopt sustainable practices, each action could ripple outwards like waves in a pond, gathering momentum over time. Feeling empowered by this newfound purpose, Mia glanced back at Coco one last time before stepping away from the glass barrier. His gentle gaze remained fixed upon her, as if he understood the fire ignited within her spirit. She silently thanked him for being part of this journey and reaffirmed that she would carry his story with her into every new endeavor. With hope lighting her path forward, Mia felt ready to step into the world beyond the zoo's gates. She would not allow this moment, this profound connection, to fade away like a dream. Rather, it would serve as a turning point in her life, where empathy transformed into action. As she walked away from Coco's enclosure, filled with determination, Mia knew that together they could inspire change and build a brighter future for all wildlife, waiting quietly for someone to advocate on their behalf. As Mia walked away from the orangutan enclosure, her heart still buzzing with excitement from her encounter with Coco, she began to reflect on the nature of friendship and connection. The experience had not only ignited her passion for wildlife conservation, but also opened her eyes to the idea that friendships could form across species. This profound realization filled her with warmth and inspired her future adventures. Mia thought about the bond she had shared with Coco, an animal she had admired from afar, but had never truly imagined connecting with on such a personal level. It was as if, in that brief moment, they had communicated without words, understanding each other's feelings and hopes. She realized that friendship was not limited to interactions between humans. It could extend to animals as well, who expressed their emotions and desires in their unique ways. With this newfound perspective, Mia felt motivated to explore more about the animal kingdom. She imagined embarking on journeys into the wild, where she could observe animals in their natural habitats and learn from them directly. The thought of meeting creatures like Coco in their own environments thrilled her. It was almost like making new friends who spoke a different language, a language of instinct and emotion rather than words. Mia envisioned herself traveling to rainforests, savannas, and oceans, where she could not only study wildlife, but also advocate for their protection. She thought about the adventures that awaited her. Witnessing animals caring for their young, seeing the intricate relationships within ecosystems, and understanding the delicate balance of nature. Each encounter would deepen her appreciation for these remarkable beings and reinforce her desire to protect them. As she considered her future, Mia felt a sense of responsibility growing within her. She wanted to share the message that every living creature deserves kindness and respect. Just as she had formed a connection with Coco, she believed others could also learn to appreciate the beauty of these relationships. It became clear to her that fostering empathy towards animals could lead to broader awareness and action for conservation efforts. Mia made a silent promise to herself that she would work tirelessly to bridge the gap between humans and animals, whether through educational campaigns or personal outreach. She hoped to inspire others to recognize the importance of wildlife protection. She envisioned creating a network of young advocates who shared her passion for making a difference in the world. With her heart full of hope and determination, Mia felt ready to embrace this exciting journey ahead. She understood that while Coco was just one orangutan among many, their shared moment represented a crucial stepping stone toward building empathy and friendships across species lines. This adventure was just beginning, and she was eager to see where it would lead her next. In the end, Mia knew that every small action mattered in the grand tapestry of life. She carried Coco's spirit with her, an unwavering reminder that friendships could blossom in unexpected ways, inspiring connections that transcended the boundaries of species. With each step she took away from the zoo, Mia felt equipped to advocate for all creatures great and small, committed to building a future filled with compassion and understanding.